All right, I'd like to thank everybody for my guest here, but first my name is Julius Cephas, and I'm president of Port of Wilmington 1694-1. But before I get started, I'd like to thank Norman Oliver for letting me sit in tonight. And again, we have a great show. We have nothing but elected officials, an all-star cast here. But before I go to my panel and to talk about anything y'all want to talk about, y'all can call in. But before I go to the panel, I just want to talk about the Port of Wilmington. And right now, there was an article 2 weeks ago in there by Alan Levin about the port. And we are in negotiations, and we are trying to make sure Dole stays here. We want Dole to be here, and we're doing everything to keep Dole here. But if you read the article, you know, people try to blame the union for everything. And I just want everybody to understand that a few years ago, the Port of Wilmington and the customers were Dole, and the customers was complaining about infrastructure and cranes because they was breaking down. Alan Levin, Gene Bailey, the port director, and his group went down to Legislation Hall. They brought their case to the legislators. The legislators gave them $22 million for infrastructure and cranes. They sit on it for 2 to 3 years. They chose not to do anything with it. They went back to get some money. One of the senators said he felt like he's being played. And I don't understand why Alan Levin and Gene Bailey would sit on $22 million when the customers are complaining. The port generates 16,000 jobs, indirectly, over $1.7 billion in revenue. And it has a chance to grow. Everybody else is investing in their ports except us. And again, I just want the membership, I just want the people to understand what's going on and hear both sides of the story. And for somebody not to want to invest in such a big big machine like the Port of Wilmington, I don't understand it. But they love Dole likes the union's work. It's the infrastructure again and the cranes. And again, they were sitting on the money, but nobody talks about that. They always want to blame the small guy, that it was his fault, her fault, and the unions always take the blame. But I'm praying that Dole stays, but I just wanted to get that out there. And we'll do another story at another time about Dole. But I'd like to go to my guests.
I mean, like to make a comment about that $22 million. If you go to the chairman of the bond bill and joint finance, they can redirect that money sitting on it a year, and they're not doing anything with it. They can put that money back in the general fund.
Okay. Well, right now, I believe they're ready to do something with it, but it's the 11th hour, and I'm just upset that nobody didn't listen to the customers down there. But again, if you read the article, they want to blame us. But before I go to my panel, and we got an all-star panel here, I'd like to, this show is going to be dedicated to my mother, Mabel Cephas, to my brother, my big brother, Ronald Cephas, who's the best big brother that I could ever ask for, took care of me when I was little, and I couldn't ask for a big brother better than him. And I wouldn't trade it, my experience with him for nothing in the world. And again, we have the mayor, Dennis P. Williams from City of Wilmington. We have Tom Gordon, county exec. We have Christopher Bullock, county president, and we have Charles Potter, state rep. And first, I'd like to go to the mayor and ask the question, and I want everybody to hear this. And this is about you and Tommy. There was a time when you and Tom Gordon, I think, was on patrol or something, and Tommy told you something that about your behavior. And Tommy, if you want to tell a story too, so everybody can listen to this. Somebody tell us so we can understand what's going on.
Well, he patrolled Dunleavy, I patrolled Southbridge, and we'd always go behind the Wilmington Carpet Mart and drink coffee. He told me he was going to be chief of police one day, but if he told me I had a better attitude, I was going to go places. He said, with that attitude of yours, you'll never get promoted. But one day we both became detectives. He couldn't find Say in Wildwood. But I was the best detective.
Defend yourself, Tom.
Okay. So,
but he became the county exec and the chief of police.
I told him everything he knows. Okay. And, you know, sometimes you forget.
Do y'all remember what year that was?
75?
I'm 75, long time ago.
Both of y'all should be proud of yourself because, again, talking about the future back then, look where y'all at today. You know, yes. I just wanted the community to hear that story.
Fun.
We are.
County exec, Christopher Bullock, go ahead.
President of council.
County
president, I'm sorry,
county
president
executive.
council.
Yes.
Good to be here with these outstanding public officials, and we're doing well. We're working hard and managing the church. The church is growing and doing well, and we're glad to be here. And County Council is working hard. It's an interesting group, 13 different personalities, but overall we are making progress as the legislative branch of county government, and supporting our county exec in specific initiatives that we'll get to later.
Mr. Childs, part of state rep, the first district really came out for you, and what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I love my community, and it just goes to show that they love me as well. It shows when you work hard, it pays dividends, and I'm happy to be down Dover representing the first representative district, down there working hard. Fortunate enough to be picked by and chosen by the Speaker of the House, Peter Swerkoff, to chair gaming and pari-mutuels, and down there keeping an eye on this money for the city and making sure my cousin don't call me up all the time. Helmer Tom.
Mayor, unemployment has been high as 7.8, but yet the unemployment went up, but crime has went down. What's your short-term and long-term? Because a lot of people don't know that crime is going down. What would you like to say about that?
Well, I think people have a misconception, first of all, that unemployment brings on a total increase in crime. I truly don't believe that. I believe it's a factor, but I truly believe that a lot of people who commit crime, some of those folks want to commit crime because they want to commit crime. As a former police officer, sometimes you interview people, and some folks had jobs and the capability to get jobs, but they still wanted to commit crime. It's an easy way out for some people. Now, does unemployment have a major factor? I'd say it is a factor. It's part of it, but it's not the 100% factor. I think a lot of people have a misconception. They talk about drug dealing, they talk about unemployment, and if you look at what's going on today, some of the people who have shot people are employed. They have jobs. They're not unemployed. And some of them have good jobs. They're out on the street trying to be a player part-time, and then going back to work Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday they want to be a player. We had an incident the other night where some gainfully employed, good job folks were out there messing around, got themselves in a whole lot of trouble.
Okay. Tom, for you are in the city and the county. What's going on with the county?
Well, we have the same problems that the city does. We have crime that we always have to keep an eye on. We have the same devastating impact on economic development, which most of our jobs have been lost in this state, in this county. The livable wage jobs are mostly gone, except for the port and Delaware City. So we're affected by that. We're also affected by the same crime, not to the greatest extent that the mayor is, but you can hardly tell the difference between Edgemore or Route 9, where the city stops and the county starts. And so that's why we're working so closely together as a team to try to not send it into my jurisdiction or back in his, but try to abate it altogether.
And County President Bullock, how do you step in on this too?
Well, we have an outstanding law enforcement agency in the county, and crime is down in the county 7.9%, 8%. We're working well with our TAPS program. Our Colonel Elmer Setting has assembled a top-notch team. Last Thursday, I went out on a ride-along with one of our young Newcastle County police officers, and I requested to go into the toughest neighborhoods in the county, and we still have challenges. We have pockets of crime, pockets of poverty that are devastating communities. We have a lot of work to do, but overall, we feel like we're making progress.
And Charles, how can you bring the money? Tell the community about bringing the money to Dover to support these three gentlemen up here.
Before I do that, can I just take the time to express condolences for all of us? I'm sure they already did it, on the loss of just a great pioneer for the city of Wilmington, state of Delaware, Father Roberto Bartelli. And he just did some great things, and we all miss him. Being down at the state, working with the different committees, Joint Finance and other committees, we want to make sure that the money comes into the city and the county, state as a whole, to get the assets that they need to do the jobs that they need to do. And I think far too much, a lot of people look at the negatives, but there's more positive things happening in the city and the county, the state of Delaware. Yes, we got to stay focused on what's happening in crime, but we need to look more at creating jobs at the state level for the whole state of Delaware.
Okay. And Mayor, I'm trying to get some of the things that people were talking about. An article came out that Wilmington is the 8th most unfriendliest place right now. And what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, that's a bunch of nonsense. You go out and you create a survey. You pay some folks, about 100 people, to do a survey, and 80% of the people's going to write it the way you want to write it. First of all, we start looking at this survey, where this survey came from. You can't even find out whether these people exist or not. The News Journal is on a mission to make Wilmington look bad. And I don't know why people keep buying the paper myself. I'll be quite frank with you. Everything we do in this city, it's negative. We gave out 21 scholarships. 9 young African-American men on their way to college had SAT scores out of this world. Did they do a story on that? Absolutely not. We have young kids who've done so well in elementary school, or mayor for a day. Have they done a story on that? Absolutely not. We have people in the city who've done great things. The community garden. Have this News Journal done a story on that? Absolutely not. All the positive things that you see going on in the city of Wilmington, the News Journal sifts through what they want to pick. And yeah, I'm talking to you, Andrew, because I know you're watching this show and you're going to write about it tomorrow. They pick what they want and put in the newspaper. But the great things that people are doing in our city, they don't want to talk about it. And let's get back to crime for one moment. We had a 24% decrease in crime. We had a 50% decrease in homicides. We got a blurb in the paper, probably a couple articles and a blurb, and that was the end of the story. They should have been playing banjos and blowing bugles. I stated when I was running for this office that I would bring crime down in 6 months. Crime has been brought down. People are making excuses and trying to say that Wilmington's a bad city. Wilmington is not a bad city. We are taking guns off the street. We are taking violent offenders off the street. We are turning people around. Our parks are in great shape. Our swimming pools are in great shape. Our recreation centers are in great shape. Do you think the News Journal writes about that? Absolutely not. We did arts in the park this year with the Grand Opera House Historical Museum. Do you think the News Journal went out and did stories about that? Absolutely not. When we kicked off arts in the park, WDEL, ILM, Channel 12, Channel 6 was there. Where was the News Journal? Missing in action because it was too positive.
Okay. And can I just piggyback off of that a little? When I go out throughout our city and the county, particularly the city, when you go down to the riverfront, it's booming, the movie theaters, the restaurants, downtown Wilmington, there's a lot of new organizations down there, restaurants. It's happening in Wilmington. Every week and every day there's a lot to do. Flea markets, cookouts, there's people who participate in the community, giving away book bags. There's a lot going on in Wilmington. If it's happening, it's happening in Wilmington, believe me.
Okay. Tom, can I, the Glasgow Park, I can't say enough about Glasgow Park, and you've been rated for, Newcastle County rated for some of the best parks in the country. Can you talk, matter of fact, the other day I just took my dog to the Glasgow Park. They got the doggy park now, and they got I'll let you talk about Glasgow Park.
Well,
everybody's
we've been
involved
working
in
with the president, and in that area it was Councilman Tackett, to get back and finish off the park that we started my last term. We're going to do, the dog park is only an addition. We're going to do the farmers market, which we started. We're going to revitalize a few buildings there. And I suspect with 90,000 people, it's going to be the largest farmers market probably from here to New Jersey. So we're bringing people back in all the parks, which they were all kind of decimated and not user-friendly. With Carousel, we've invested, with the help of the president, significant money to bring that back to be a family park, bringing people from our city to come out and spend days and weeks there. And we're going to do the same thing with the Rockwood, where Charles is, in his backyard. He's already offered to support anything that we need there because he also represents the county. So we've got a good team, and you're going to see all the parks going to be revitalized, and they're all going to be for the family to come out and spend time, to get out of some of the dismal areas that they're in and come out and enjoy some 200-300 acres.
Okay, Mayor, do you think we'll be able to see the parks functioning like that in Wilmington?
Well, the county and the city is totally different on how you would have a park operate. The county, I would say, you have more adults using the parks. Wilmington is densely populated where there's tons of children. So the things that we'd have to offer in the city would be totally different than what was offered in the county. The county has a lot of walking trails, a lot of bike trails, but in the city you have to have more sports and activities for younger kids because the densely populated area where kids are right on top of each other, we have to get them into the parks, you know, doing athletics, basketball, football, baseball, and things of that nature, and swimming when the weather's right. But
could I add to that? Dennis sent
Sure.
his park and recs out to Carousel, and he's going to continue to do that because we think they're also city parks.
Right.
And he sent his buses out, and we tested it, worked very well. Many kids have never seen a horse or a duck, and we're going to continue to do that with Reverend Bullock. And they're county parks, but the city's in the county.
Right.
And we can ship them out to hundreds of acres where Dennis doesn't have.
Right.
Carousel's 250 acres, and Rockwood's like 130 acres. So we've got larger parks that are in the county, and they're also going to be used by his thanks to the mayor by taking on the busing and bringing the kids out in buses and all. Something that helped us out. We're going to expand that thanks to the mayor.
And let me jump on something right quick. You talked about Wilmington, writing about Wilmington being bad. Well, let's look at Chase Manhattan Bank. $87 million 4 weeks ago, they purchased their 2 towers, bringing more employees in. Capital One just brought an additional 500 employees in the city of Wilmington, looking at building a campus in our city. Citibank is looking at adding additional employees in our city. Paul McDonald Group, $20 million investment in the Hercules building. Well, I tell you, we're moving in the right direction. I mean, we are moving. We're looking at new, more sporting events at the riverfront. The boxing was a success. We'll have another boxing match in October. We're not sitting around with our hat in our hand, waiting for people to come to us and say, you can do this. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to move on. We're going to find ways to do creative financing. We're going to think outside the box. It is no more that going to the door with your hat in your hand, sitting around waiting for people to give you money. We have a lobbyist in D.C. We are looking at getting funding ourselves because I really don't think that we should have to wait for government entities to trickle down money to us, because sometimes we're held hostage on certain things because people want to hold money back because they want you to do things a certain way. This mayor's not going for it. I mean, the okey doke's not going to be pulled on me. I served on joint finance for 16 years. I know all the games that's played. We are changing. This mayor's not afraid to speak up. This mayor's not afraid to take a position, and this mayor's taking positions, and we are going to change the way Wilmington operates and the way people look at us. We are the largest city in this state, and without Wilmington, Delaware is nothing but one big farm.
And let me add to I represented our county executive in Philadelphia. We met with the Israeli ambassador in Philadelphia, the consul general. And one of the things we impressed upon him was the business-friendly environment and the tax structure in Delaware. And we are looking forward to having an economic business roundtable with Israel coming to our county real soon. They're interested in trade. They're interested in business opportunities. They're interested in our TAPS program. They're interested in agricultural programs. They're interested in doing business in Delaware. And so the county is open for business. We're also interested in the continent of Africa and businesses coming in to the port and other trading opportunities. So we're not only thinking locally about parks and libraries, and we're doing well there, but we are also thinking about how we can expand on a global scale.
Julius, when you talk about economic development, what the news journal and the radio stations have to understand is that they do a disservice to the city of Wilmington, the state of Delaware, with all the negative press. Yeah, you're supposed to talk about the truth, but just to print negative stuff because they think it sells. People could turn their nose up and say, I don't want to do business in Delaware or the city of Wilmington. But you know what? They're looking at the real numbers. That's why businesses are still coming in to the city and the state, because they know what the numbers say and how we compare to other cities and other states. We're doing very well.
And anybody with any common sense would read these articles and look at the common detractors. There's 4 or 5 of them, the same names over and over again. It's like a group of people that you just call up and say, hey, what you want to say bad about the city today? Anybody that reads these articles, they ought to start highlighting the people who comment on this. It is the same 5 people over and over again. I mean, that's you know, that really is the penthouse.
You know, being a preacher,
Took my next question
it's
away.
incumbent upon talking about the good news. And we need to applaud State Representative Potter, County Exec Gordon, Mayor, on the great job they're doing. And we need to promote the good things that are happening in our city, good things that are happening in the county. And I want to encourage all of the families to visit our parks, visit our libraries. Feel good about yourself. Take advantage of Carousel. Get out of the house. Go down to the riverfront. Be a part of the solution and not the problem.
That's right.
Every city in this nation has issues.
Right.
It's just not Wilmington specific or county, Newcastle County specific. There are a lot of great things happening. I live in the city. I had lunch on the riverfront today. There was no problems. Boats were going down Christina River. People were having a good time. There was a great spirit in the air. I felt safe. So get out of the house. Enjoy the summer. Take your kids, your dogs to the park. Visit the city, and let's make our city and our county first class again.
Okay, Tom, let me ask you about the Rocky Museum and about that situation about unions getting involved. What can you talk about?
About
that?
what?
Rockwood Museum. I guess about getting the unions getting a chance to at least participate in the process.
Problem I have with Rockwood is when I left in 2004, it was pristine. For 8 years, nobody picked up a paintbrush. The building's pretty decimated right now. Probably $1 million to fix up the museum, $100,000 to fix up the conservatory. The entire time the Friends were there, they could have done anything. Write a memo, you know, tell the executive the paint chips are coming off. All they want to complain about was the wrapping of the trees. So I take it serious when all of a sudden it's my fault. Discussion has to take place. Is that going to be an open museum like it was before? We can use it as we need it. And is council willing to put the money back in it again? The additional, having somebody else do it, there's all kinds of legal liabilities if somebody's injured. It doesn't make sense. And the third thing is, you have a law in the books that say you have to pay prevailing wage, and it's hard to make an exception unless you want to come work on our buildings. You know, the law is the law, and we've got to decide how to resolve it. But I want that park, I want that building, I want that park open, and we want to see hundreds and thousands of kids and families come there and use it.
Okay. I would like to go take a commercial break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Yeah. Okay, thank you. We're back. I'd like to ask the mayor a question about the gun laws. How can you deal with the gun laws and at the same time be tough on crime? And that's for this panel.
Well, first of all, I've moved from a position where I don't have any authority over gun laws any longer. I have to use Title 11. The legislature writes the gun laws, and the city of Wilmington enforces the gun laws from Title 11. You know, we do have to have stricter gun laws, but most of these folks that are killing each other are buying these guns legally. You can go in some states in the South. Mississippi and Alabama have the most lax gun laws. You can buy 4 handguns at one time. You don't have a felony. You can buy the handguns and drive back and bring them back to where you want to bring them to. This is where I have a problem. Why should somebody be able to buy 4 handguns at one time? Why would you need 4 handguns at one time? People keep talking about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, but we're not having a revolution anymore. There's no more bears running around wild. We have a police force. We have a military. We have to have some control over firearms. Do I say we disarm people? No, I don't believe in taking everybody's guns away. We have to do this smartly, and we have to look at the illegal firearms that's on the street. And the things that you have to do better serial number checks, weapons that's been used in crimes. We have to have more gun units in police departments like we have in our city, which is doing a phenomenal job taking guns off the street. They're focused on handguns and automatic weapons only. This is the kind of way you're going to turn this thing around. But you're not going to get that amendment out of the Constitution. I mean, people are going to still think they have a right to carry guns legally. But we look at some of these states, they write these silly laws like stand your ground nonsense, all that foolishness. That kind of stuff is going to get people in a lot of trouble. And when I say a lot of trouble, it's going to make a lot of ill feelings in this country. We have to look at stringent gun laws, but we have to think smart, not be reactive. Some elected officials jump up and down because they think it's the right way to go because the wind's blowing that way and want to change gun laws and make stronger gun laws. No, they'll never be able to be enforced, but that's more money and silliness on the books that will never be able to be enforced. And when they are enforced, it's going to be somewhere a long, drawn-out court battle, which is going to be thrown out because it's going to be unconstitutional because it was never tested.
Okay. Tom, what's your feeling on it?
Well, my friend, the detective here, hit it on the head. And he's dealing with it. He's doing a fabulous job. They're going after the kids with guns, and I think the cow's out of the barn. What I think I agree with him on it. There's so many guns out there now. You'd be forever. You stopped it tomorrow, and that's not going to happen. So we've got to focus on the reality in the county and the city that we're taking guns off the kids and off the gang leaders, off these people that are doing the shootings, and we're sending teams out there to handle that. And that's a good start.
Okay. Go ahead.
I agree with the county exec and the mayor. We have to work smarter. The guns are a reality. We have to address the black market, the easy access to guns. One of the things we've done as a county through the leadership of our exec and our colonel, we are working together with the city police to abate crime and to deal with some of these guns. So we're working together, and it's going to be not a quick fix, but it's going to take time. But I'm confident that we'll continue to address this issue.
Okay, Charles, let me ask you a question. You're a state rep, you're down in Dover now. Do you think politicians can create jobs since you're down in Dover, and what do you see differently from city council?
Sure. I do want to just kind of say I echo what everyone said about the gun laws, and that it's not just from an elected position what should happen with the gun laws, but we need all the family members, people viewing the station, to participate and to support our police, the mayor, the county exec, and the county president, and making sure that if you see someone out there using a gun illegally, that you report it. As far as creating jobs, yes, we can. We can get tax incentives to bring people in. There's a lot that the state can do to help bring jobs into the state. So I know a lot of people may disagree, but if somebody needs to get a tax credit, and that would help them cross the line to make the decision to come to Delaware versus going to Pennsylvania, then we should do that if it makes sense.
Okay. What's the difference between city council and the state rep? Is it minor league, major league?
Tremendous difference. You're at the table, you're making quick decisions logically. I mean, we did that at city council, but there's less playing around and holding up legislation, and that should be the same. I believe, just as we did in city council, that every piece of legislation should hit the floor, you vote it up or down. No desk door vetoes. I don't believe that.
Okay. And Ivan, can you put the number up? We're going to take some calls in a minute. Also, I want the panel, I wanted the audience to know everybody up here who has supported the Port of Wilmington and their growth of the Port of Wilmington, and I appreciate that from all you guys.
Well, we support the port. We just allocated another $20 million, and as it relates to the governor and Alan Levin holding money back and not putting it right into the port, I would never support that. I support the governor and Alan Levin, but you can't hold money back because time slips away. Those dollars should have been invested, and the port could be much further ahead today than it is right now.
Okay. I'm going to take a call. Please turn your television down. Hello, you on the air.
Great show, Julius. I want to just say this to the mayor. First of all, I appreciate the mayor. This is the first year. My name's Calvin Brown. First year Hilltop Day that we got such a tremendous outreach from the city government. It's been phenomenal to support. Y'all talked about the parks, and it's exactly what we're doing up here on 3rd and Clayton. Tough neighborhood, but Brother Bovell, myself, working hard. We're going to have a tremendous program this year. I hope all you guys can turn out and be a part of that.
Hey, Cal, let me
Yes,
ask you a question. Is this a commercial or you got a question?
I got a little lead introduction. Give me a minute, brother. I wanted to just say this. Something that the mayor failed to say earlier, and all the accolades that the city is doing. One of the things he appointed me to be a member of the Board of Commissioners at the Wilmington Housing Authority. We have one of the leading innovative programs in the country dealing with our veterans. And Fred Purnell, Chairman Holloway, and myself are embarking on a program that would house hundreds of veterans in the city that have come back from Iraq and Afghanistan, new voucher programs. And I wanted to ask our county exec, and I've had some time to sit down with Mr. Gordon, Pastor Bullock, and Charles. It's not too late, fellas, to help with this great Hilltop Day. I don't know if someone's contacted you or not, but I want you guys to show up, and if you can do anything to help support our effort this week. We're trying to bring communities together, and we need you.
Calvin,
thank you.
Calvin,
I'm gonna yield to the pastor because he's
appreciate everything.
He's used to bringing money
in.
in.
Together. Now I'll let them answer your question. Thank you, Cal.
Yield to Bullock.
Okay.
There you go, Rev.
What was his question?
Money for a Hilltop Day. You know how to raise money.
When is it?
I don't think
It's Saturday. I believe
It's this Saturday coming.
It's this Saturday, and I also want to say
It's a great event.
Yeah, I also want to say there has a sickle cell run awareness on the 14th of September. And everybody on this panel supports sickle cell, with Dr. Anderson having a program, having a run. It's a run and walk.
Is that in the morning?
It's at 10 o'clock. Last year it was very successful. Again, you'll start seeing flyers and stuff, seeing people come on TV. It's September the 14th, and last year there was over 400 people. A run and walk. It's a great cause, and everybody needs to be there. It's September the 14th for the sickle cell run and walk.
I'm gonna come and donate. Then after they finish the sickle cell, another great event in the city of Wilmington is Fox Tail Fest at the Tubman Garrett Park. So that's a great event to go to.
Take another call. Okay. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes. I'd like to ask Mr. Gordon and Mr. Potter a question. Over at the Christiana Mall, Cabela's, this company is going to bring in a non-union outfit to erect the iron. I'm a union tradesman. And I don't understand why we're going to have them bring in out-of-town people to work in our state when our union people are out of work like it is. Is there anything, I mean, they're going to come here and make a lot of money because it's tax-free. Cabela's is a big hunting store. And I just don't see how we can let that happen. Our union people in this state, when we work, we pay twice as much taxes, a lot more to the economy than bringing in out-of-town people to erect this store. Maybe they can answer the question for me.
Okay, good question. Thank you. You know, I'm a union man myself.
I know that. Okay,
thank you. All right.
Well, you know, Julius, I support our in-house, our unions locally first before us going outside to do something. So I'm very supportive of our unions in the state.
I've been involved in it. I think we're going to do everything we can. I believe that the trades are all sitting on the bench. I believe I'd rather have somebody from Delaware than anywhere else. I'm showing that. So I'm going to push what I can legally to make sure that they give as many opportunities to local union and non-union, primarily union, because I think that they're the people that are watching out to make sure that livable wages come back. They're the ones that created it for this country, and we are slipping. We're on a dangerous course right now to looking like Mexico, I think. If you don't have livable wage, you don't have union jobs, you're not going to have a good economy. Nobody's going to buy houses. And I have been involved with Cabela's, and I'm disappointed. It's not over yet, and we're going to try to bring them in again and talk to them.
And if the Economic Development Department from the state gave them any money, the chairmen of Joint Finance, members of the General Assembly, should be standing up barking about this and saying take the money back if they're not going to hire Delaware labor people. Union folks, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If I was chairman of Joint Finance, that would have never happened. Would have never happened under my watch. I'm not going to give you any incentive if you're not hiring Delawareans. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And Mayor, you're exactly right. I'll be checking to see if any state funds are going into it, and I'll have my say in it.
And also, the Port of Wilmington, this year was one of our most profitable years. We have 28 new people coming into our union January the 1st. 28 so far, and they still have till the end of December 31st to make it. And again, things are good. So now you got people who are going to be getting benefits, holiday vacation, going to be able to go purchase homes, buy cars, shop, everything. So
good for the economy.
That it's great for the economy. And again, it's great for the economy. I'll take another call. Go ahead, you on the air.
Hi,
Hi, good evening. I would just like to tell the mayor that he's doing an excellent job in the city of Wilmington, and I really respect him for all the young people he has brought into his cabinet, and I hope he keeps the good work up, and I enjoy you having Alex Coppage represent the city of Wilmington. She's doing an excellent job. Thank you.
Okay, was that your mother?
Thank you, ma'am.
Alex Coppage is a member of my church.
Okay. Yeah.
She's a member of my church, so she's doing a great job.
My mom stopped calling when I retired from the police force.
I know one young person he had that I'm very, very proud of is Sean Allen, and this guy is helping the young people, getting them involved and taking it to another level.
Fabulous.
And I am so proud of Sean Allen and the job he's doing in the trauma center and the things that he's getting people involved in, bringing them back from Philadelphia. And Sean, if you're out there, just keep up the good work, and you're awesome, and again, you hired a great man.
He's caused a lot of reduction in crime.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about all during the course of the campaign. Young people would be a major part of the Williams administration. And you know, 60% of my department heads are female, just like I promised. I mean, we made a decision, things have to change. The good old boy network, it's over. I said we're going to do some things that people are going to be stunned. We're going to bring some young people in, let young people know they have a capability to come here, do a great job. We're going to hire them. They don't have to go to another state. We picked the best and the brightest. They're here. They're doing a heck of a job. And as I stated again, we said females would be running a lot of departments in the city of Wilmington, and they are.
Okay. All right, we'll take another phone call. Hello, you on the air?
Hello, my name is Jerome Saunders. My question is for Dennis. Dennis, the Price is Run area, the football field, why is the bushes growing up on the football field, and why are there bushes in the Spiegman Park, and why is there bushes going down towards the pool? That eliminates the sports in the wintertime, and why hasn't the football field been lined like it used to be?
You talking about the gully, Jerome?
Yeah, I'm talking the gully and the football field. The football
yeah, I used to
field,
play there.
Price is Run at 25th and 26th. They have bushes growing up there, and you know.
Yeah, you probably beat me up because I used to tackle you down there, didn't I?
Yeah, you may have. So look, what's the purpose of that? That eliminates the activity in the wintertime. I mean, you're doing well. You're doing well in the summer. You got the pools open, but in the wintertime, the football field needs to be lined. Those bushes need to be taken down, and if you can get the old ice skating ring back and put that there, you know, like it used to be. And it'll be, the city needs to have some activity during the winter also, as well as the summer. So why those bushes are dangerous. People can hide behind the bushes, and I don't understand. I mean, I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay, good question. Thank you.
Jerome, first of all, that was done by previous administration. I went into the park myself, and I don't like it. And we probably, more than likely, we are going to take them out and bring the football back and football field back and line the field. And you said one thing that was very key. Those bushes are very dangerous. People can hide behind those bushes. You'll never see them if they jump out on you. And it's something that we've been looking at, and more than likely going to take them out.
Okay. Hello, you on the air?
Hello, Julius. This is Karen Reason. And I wanted to tell you that I was very good friends with your brother Ronnie. We grew up in Southbridge together, had classes together, and did almost everything together. And this question is for Mayor Williams. My question is, please tell me if there's a possibility of cameras being put on Morrow Street or close by.
Okay, there's a possibility, Mrs. Reason, but we have to look at the burn grant and see what kind of money that we have. I know what you're talking about, the problems that you're having over there, and we have saturated that area with police. But yes, you do need cameras, and we'll do everything we can to get some cameras in that area.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll take another call. Where you on the air?
Yes. Let me turn it down, this TV down. My name is Sister Gaines. And what I'm calling in about, the crime rate here in Wilmington, Delaware. 5 people, listen at me careful, 5 people got killed over the weekend. And I talked to a state trooper at the skating ring on Friday night, and he was telling me that mayor that I voted and helped put in the chair, and my whole family did, that he told them they can leave. He didn't no longer leave them. And he said the crime rate is up high. I'm concerned about they coming out here in the suburbs right off of Maryland Avenue. Something needs to be did about this. Let me say this here. Derrick Johnson, y'all dying him so much, and when people die, he be at the scene trying to help. But you know, he killed somebody before he accepted Christ in his life. But that has nothing to do with that, because if God forgive him, what is man to be judging him for? And he is a good man. He's there on the scene. Everybody drop on the ground. He's there to help. And I'm going to see the judge, because if I don't get no justice here, I will be down to the courthouse, seeing the judge, and going to Channel 6 News and put it on the air.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Something got to be did about this here.
All
the
right.
mayor is not doing what he's supposed to do. Doggone the basketball court, because if they keep killing people like they killing them, they're going to kill kids, and there ain't going to be no basketball court.
Okay.
Work on the crime here.
All right, we'll let him answer the question. Thank you.
It's bad.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, there wasn't 5 people killed in one weekend. There was a combination of people that were injured and died a few days later. Again, the crime rate is down 50%. I've only been in for 6 months. This other problem persisted over 12 years. I'm not Window Wizard. If I was Window Wizard, we wouldn't have crime at all. And for that state trooper to make a statement to her, I am appalled, and I feel sorry for him. Maybe that's why he's writing traffic tickets. I'm just shocked that he would say that to her. And Mrs. Gaines, we are working on the crime problem here. We're working diligently. Every day we get 4 to 5 guns off the street, constantly. Since I've been in office, we've gotten over 300 handguns off the street, hundreds of thousands of dollars for narcotics, illegal drugs, illegal cash. We are doing everything we can. And in 6 months, for the crime rate to go down 24% and the homicides to go from 18 down to 8, I think we're doing a heck of a job in the first 6 months. Will things get better? Yes, they will. We need more time. And another thing, people call this station, they call the radio, they talk to the news journal, and they lambaste government and the police. But how come they haven't told us who shot the folks that they know who shot the folks? I got a lady who called me today. Her grandson was murdered. We had a gentleman that was just killed. They're calling this lady, telling her this is the guy that killed your grandson. Why now? We need support from the community. People can talk about us all they want to and not cooperate. We need the community to support us. Some of these folks know who's doing this shooting. Some of these folks are reaping the benefits from these drug dealers. And let's face the music, I'm not afraid to put it out here. Some people are making profits from this, and that's why they're not telling.
Yeah, and let me say something. So when you said about drugs, I've been talking to Liz Allen, and Liz, the project she's working on now about getting rehab centers is a great idea, and its time should have been here.
I agree.
And I believe that they need to stop funding the prisons and start putting some rehab centers up. And some of these people who are nonviolent, they just need seek some medical help.
They need some help. I'm working with Liz Allen on that
project
as well.
I want to go down the panel and see how you guys feel about that.
Well, I put $600,000 in the budget for rehab before Julius, and then it was shot down by the General Assembly. Rehab is not going to be a cure-all. This is not why people are shooting each other. These folks are robbing each other, drug dealers. Most of these guys aren't even users. They're sticking each other up. That's why they're killing each other. This young man who, well, I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay, well, let me say this. Let me say this, Mayor.
Mayor,
Let me say this. I'm talking about people's function in life. Like on my job, I see when people go get treatment, they end up being more productive. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the crime part.
Oh, okay, I understand.
I'm talking about the production of people get out of the depression. They get more involved in life. They're more successful in doing things.
That would be up to the General Assembly again. They have to fund it. I mean, we brought it to the table before. Nobody wanted to listen. It's too costly. We incarcerate people in this state, and then they get rehab. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. That's like telling somebody to walk in front of the traffic like you know they're going to get hit.
Let's just go down the list. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's just go down. We can get everybody to get a feed.
Okay, we appreciate Liz Allen. Liz Allen brought that to everybody's attention.
Yes, I support it.
We have a terrible heroin problem. We had a prescription problem. We cracked down on that. Now we have a terrible heroin. Heroin has teeth. You don't get off heroin unless you have treatment. The only way you get treatment is to go to jail. We need beds for that, because you have a problem in Newcastle County, in the city of Wilmington, in Newark, with some of the purest heroin ever in this country.
Right.
Comes into Delaware. Nowhere else. We get it right from Mexico. It comes right into Newark, and it's something like 90% pure. You take it one time, you're hooked for life. We need beds.
I support rehab and rehabilitation. We've been doing it. We being our church, we've been doing it for years in various forms without government funding. We fund it ourselves. I've seen the results and positive outcomes of faith-based rehabilitation, reentry. So it works when you put the time in with the right program and the commitment. I think Liz is on to something. But also say to Liz, if she's listening, to research, even you, Representative Potter, Delancey Street. It's a model program around the country that does everything. It's one-stop shopping kind of thing out of San Francisco. It does rehab, it does job training, it does the whole thing, and it's a great model for us. But I support rehab. We need to support people to give them another chance of help and healing.
Let me just jump in for a minute. Delancey Street was brought in. I met with the people who created Delancey Street. The state just wouldn't fund it. It's in New York and San Francisco. Here we go again. People who sitting on the purse strings have to put money in to fund this. They can't keep talking about it. They have the wherewithal to fund it. I don't care if you start out just with $100,000. The Joint Finance can put this in the budget, vote it in, take it to the floor, and say, we're not going to cut this out. We're going to vote on this. This is going to be here. I know how it operates. You have to be prudent to the fact that you're serious about you want to stop this scourge of narcotics. If you want rehab, put the money in the budget and let's vote it in.
All right.
Well, you know, I support rehabs. I'm supporting Liz on that. We don't have enough detoxification beds for people. Let me just say this. Last year we had about 30 deaths in the city. Now, when we look at suicides in the state, there's over 150 ages from 18 to 26. These are just small statistics. But when you add in adults throughout, 250, and these are white people, okay? So we have a problem with our young people shooting each other to the tune of 30, but when you look at staggered numbers of 150 young white people, suicide, drug overdoses, addiction. So we all have our problems. We need to work on it. And we as a government, we have to put the money where the most need is, get rehab, better education for people, and people work together. And as the mayor said, you know who are out there committing these crimes. You need to tell. And if you're profiting off of that, then shame on you, because it's hurting our city.
Okay.
And Julius, we have to get some of these programs in the Department of Corrections.
Okay. We
have to be proactive and get in there and do some new things.
That's right. Okay, you on the air.
All right. Yeah, I can't hear myself, though.
I can hear you. We can hear you, though.
Okay, I'd like to say hello to all you gentlemen.
How you doing?
Go ahead.
And I went to school with Dennis, Julius, Charlie. I worked on...
Turn your TV down a little bit. We're getting an echo. But go ahead. We can hear you.
I worked on Tom's Gordon election. Reverend Bullock, I have the chance to meet him. And I just want to ask one question. Why can I get no help from the city of Wilmington?
What?
In what you're not saying? What's the question?
Okay, my question is that I work for the city of Wilmington, and they're denying me of my pension after I served 18 years. I was under the grandfather's clause. Now they said I'm forfeiting my pension. Where they do that in any other state?
Okay, we'll answer your question. We'll try to answer your question. I know it's going to be hard because we don't have all the facts.
I can't answer that. That's a personnel question.
Yeah, well, first of all, you can't forfeit your pension. You can't do that. I think the only way your pension can be taken away from you in this state, it had to be some serious felony, treason, attempted murder, police officer, narcotics, something like that. You can't forfeit no pension. He needs to call 576-2100 and get an appointment to go into personnel.
Okay. Well, call do what the mayor said, and also you might need to get a lawyer. You on the air? Hello.
Okay, I will do that.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
You can't forfeit a pension.
Go ahead, you on the air. We got 5 minutes. We'll take a couple more questions.
This is Sister Gaines again, and that's for that. This is Sister Gaines again,
Hold up,
and
sis.
that's for that mayor that just got through talking about that state trooper, that he was right.
Okay, we only got a few more questions. Hello?
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Am I on the air?
Yeah, you got. Go ahead, ask the question.
How you doing? This is Steve. Hey, how you doing, Cephas?
How you doing,
This is
Steve?
the mayor.
How you doing?
Hey, listen. I'm trying to form an HBCU Delaware Alliance here in Delaware, and we want to know how we can work together to network with the city and the state to help you all out, especially these alumni chapters that we have here.
Okay, we got 4 minutes, so we got to let him answer the question. Thank you. Go ahead, Dennis.
He can sit down with Alex Covington and Harold Gray. He can call 576-2100 also.
Okay, we'll go to the next question. Hello?
I'm sorry, is this Crossfire?
Yes, it is.
Are you still taking calls, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Hello, go ahead. We're running out of time. Go ahead with your question.
I want to ask the mayor. He said that he was going to bring it. I want to know, has he brought it yet, or are we still waiting on it?
Okay.
So what are you talking about, sir?
I hung up.
Okay.
Answer the question.
He's probably talking about how we're going to deal with crime. Yeah, we're going to get heavy-handed. We've taken the crime plan and we've gone to step by step. We feel now that it's time to get a little heavy-handed, and that's the way it's going to be.
And I want to say something to the viewing audience. Everybody up on this panel, including myself, we only been in office. Some of us less than a year, some of us 6 months. Again, you have to give everybody up here a chance. Right now, I can see great improvement since all these gentlemen been here. So in another 6 months, it will get better. But you have to give these gentlemen a chance to get the job done. They just got there. I'm gonna take another question because we're running down on time. Hello, you on the air?
Yes, I wanted to say good evening to my 4 favorite leaders and to my dear friend Julius. I want to thank you all for your support of the Stokely resolution and rehabs and detox. My question is, has anyone from state government contacted any one of you about where this detox center is going to be set up in Newcastle County or the city of Wilmington? Has there been any discussion on that issue?
All right, thank you, Liz. We run out of time. I'll let them answer the question.
No.
Okay. The answer was no. We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to go to our panel, and we're going to close it up. Hello? You got 30 seconds.
Hi, I'm calling.
Turn your TV down.
I wanted to ask a question. There's issues going on. I'm a resident of the Terry apartment, and there's several issues, like with drug dealers in here, people living in here that's not supposed to be in here. Like, and the manager lives in the building and does nothing about it, no matter how much you complain. Who would I direct those complaints?
We'll try to answer real quick because we got 1 minute left. Thank you.
She can call 576-2100. And she doesn't have
look at the camera.
She doesn't have to give her name. She can call 576-2100, and we can put somebody in their advice squad.
Okay, I'm gonna let everybody. Everybody's got 20 seconds, and we're gonna wind it down because it's time for us to get ready to go up the show. Mayor, again, thank you. Thank you, Tom Gordon, County Exec. Thank you, Pastor Bullock, County President. Thank you, State Rep Charles Potter. Everybody can say something, and we're gonna close it up.
One of the things I want to say in closing, it'll be very rapid. We need help. We need people to come forward and tell us the things that they know that are going on. They know people that are shooting people. They know people that have the firearms. I mean, they're right there in the community. They see this. There's so many people who have observed people, shot people, and they say we're afraid because they're going to do something to us. We have a hotline you can call. We have a witness protection program. We'll go after these people diligently if they threaten you. Okay. But you got to help us. You got to tell us.
All right, we got to go. We got to keep it quick. Keep it moving.
Joyce, I want to thank you for having this great debate, and I think we need more like this. Not debate, great discussion. Okay. I think it's needed.
Thank you, Julius, and continued support of your leadership. I pray for all 4 of us as we seek to meet the needs and the demands of the residents and the citizens of the city and the county.
There's some bad things been happening, but I'm optimistic about the future, and you should be too, because you're part of the future. Get involved. If there's crime happening, call in and tell. Help us out, but also be optimistic about all the good things. You live in a beautiful city and a beautiful state. Believe you can and you will.
Okay. I'd like to thank Norman Oliver for allowing me to be here again, and I'd again like to thank the guests. And again, our union will have a show dealing with the Port of Wilmington at its proper time. And I just want everybody to see both sides of it. And you probably will read some things in the article. But again, invest in the Port of Wilmington. Delaware's future deserves it and needs it. Thank you, and see you next week.